What's up my friends, welcome to the channel. Samsung has set a fireball rolling into the Indian cell phone industry, and as this fireball progresses further, it's going to set a benchmark onto the sales figures of competitors. By the way, I'd just like to let you know that this video is neither sponsored nor an affiliated video, so be rest assured to get an honest and unbiased opinion whenever you visit Detective 360. So without wasting any further time, let's jump into the unboxing and review of Samsung Galaxy M20. There is some documentation inside. Let's put this aside. Here is the phone. What's else there in the box? A Samsung quick charge charger, a SIM ejector tool, and a charging cable. So let's put these things aside. Wow, the phone looks very stunning. It's a bit thicker just because it's having a 5000 mAh of battery inside it, but it looks very decent. By the way, I'm not a very big fan of this water drop design because that's my personal opinion. Some of you may like it, some of you may not, because it seems as if what kind of real estate of screen you'll be saving just by giving a kind of a notch over here. Maybe just for being fancy, it's fine, but I personally don't like it. But on an average, the phone feels very nice and sturdy. Definitely the back is not made up of glass, it's of polycarbonate, or you can say plastic. So let's power this on. I'll just finish up the settings and just come back to you in real quick. Now as I have set up the phone, let's talk about look and feel of this phone. Now it has got a pinhole on top. If you can see, it has got a pinhole on top for a secondary microphone. On the bottom it has got a USB Type-C charging port, a 3.5mm audio jack, and a speaker grill. On the right it has got a volume rocker and a power button, and on the left it has got a dedicated SIM tray with micro SD card, so you won't be compromising on any of the SIM cards for using a micro SD card. At the front, in this water drop design, it has got a front selfie camera which is 8 megapixel. On the rear it has got a dual camera setup with an LED flash on bottom of that, and at the center in the back you have got your fingerprint scanner. The body is made up of polycarbonate, and under no circumstances this design looks to be cheap or inferior. It has got quite a bit of a weight, about 186 grams, because it carries 5000 mAh battery, and it's thicker at the edges at about 8.8 millimeters. Now talking about the features and specifications, it has got Samsung Exynos 7409 processor, which is a brand new processor from Samsung, which is quite comparable to Qualcomm Snapdragon 636. And mind well, this is not comparable to Qualcomm Snapdragon 660 processor, which is a newer and much more faster processor than 636 as well. Now talking about the display, it has got a 6.3 inch of Full HD Plus display and pixel density of 409. The panel is TFT panel. Don't worry though, it's not an IPS panel or a Super AMOLED panel, but Samsung has done a great job in display, and trust me, it's a no compromise display. The colors look great and vibrant. Now talking about the sensors, this phone, though it's in the budget or an economy segment, it has got all the necessary sensors and there's no compromise on sensors either. Talking about the camera, it has got a front 8 megapixel camera, and at the rear it has got 13 megapixel and 5 megapixel dual camera setup. And I'll flash some of the pictures of how this phone performs while taking photographs, so just have a look at it. Storage. Two variants are available for this phone: 32 GB of ROM and 3 GB of RAM, costing around 11,000 rupees, and 64 GB of ROM and 4 GB of RAM, costing 13,000 rupees, which is I have got this one. And the storage can be expanded by a micro SD card up to 512 gigabits. Now talking about the battery life, it has got a whopping 5000 mAh of battery with a quick charge, and the charger included in the box is capable of quick charging the phone. Now on a typical day, it lasts about 1.5 days with moderate to bit heavy usage. That's really great. Now talking about the connectivity, this phone supports all the Indian 4G bands, and it's seamlessly compatible with any of the SIM card from any of the operators. Now the Bluetooth version is 5.0 and Wi-Fi version is BGNN, not SC, means it doesn't support 5 GHz of Wi-Fi band. Sadly though, there is no NFC as well. Now the performance of this phone. Samsung's Exynos 7409 processor is coupled with Mali G71MP2 graphic processor. So also you can stream full HD content online on this phone, as many of you may not be aware that not all phones are capable of doing so. Now talking about the gameplay, playing Asphalt 9 was a breeze and there was no lags and stutters, but playing PUBG on this game on a medium graphic settings is playable but not enjoyable, because there were frame drops and phone hits up in this area quite a bit. Now talking about how does this phone stack up against the competition. According to me, there are three main rivals of this phone. The first one is Realme 2 Pro, the other is Asus Zenfone Max 2, and yet another and much anticipated is Xiaomi's Redmi Note 7. All these phones use superior quality processor, which is Qualcomm 660. Now one more factor to be considered is that all the three phones use Corning Gorilla Glass protection, whereas this phone uses a Dragon Trail glass protection on the screen. Talking about the camera, Realme 2 Pro has 16 megapixel plus 2 megapixel camera setup at the back. Asus Zenfone Max 2 has got 12 megapixel plus 5 megapixel of setup, whereas Xiaomi's Redmi Note 7 has got a whopping 48 megapixel plus 5 megapixel setup. But one thing is to be considered, that higher megapixel count doesn't assure you of good image quality. Now, mainly Indian market is very price sensitive, and talking about the price of all the phones in the competition is Realme 2 Pro cost about 15k with similar specs. Asus Zenfone Max 2 also costs 15k, whereas Xiaomi's Redmi Note 7 cost almost equal to this Samsung's Galaxy M20 series of phones. So alright guys, now I will give you my final conclusion and my user experience using this phone. This device, Samsung Galaxy M20, is a fantastic device. It's quite snappy in day-to-day performance. It's got a great battery life, and it has got a Samsung branding. Along with that, it has got a Samsung's proprietary UI, which is quite refined and fun to use. This phone has also got a decent camera performance, both front and rear, and you won't get disappointed while using the cameras on this phone. Talking about some of the cons of this phone, that this phone is not meant for hardcore gaming performance. The CPU used is a bit weaker, but it's not that weaker that you won't enjoy the UI and functionality of this phone. It doesn't freeze or lag anywhere as such. One more flaw which I found, that this phone gets unlocked even just by showing a photograph of the person who has registered for a face unlock onto this device. So that's basically not such a big con, that can be fixed later with the software updates. And yet another thing I would like to mention is that there is no NFC functionality and no notification LED. But these are some of the flaws, and if you could live with this, then this is a superb device. So who should buy this phone? I would recommend to anyone looking for a phone under 15k with a decent battery life and a decent performance. Can definitely go ahead and buy this phone. It has also got a very good set of cameras on this. So this was my review about Samsung's Galaxy M20, and if you have found this information helpful, do hit that like button, do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.